Hey, this is JJ, and I'm here with my husband,
Eric.
Eric, and we were on our daily walk this morning and had an amazing revelation, mind-blowing revelation about how we've approached carnivore as to opposed approaching different diets in the past. So we wanted to share that with you. So are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you remember what the mind-blowing thing was?
The mind-blowing thing is that carnivore is not a diet. I know you want to say lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
No,
oh my God.
We don't like that.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's true, but it's not. When you've heard it a million times that this diet is a lifestyle, not a diet, it does wear thin after a while. Yeah.
So what this is that carnivore is a skill.
Bam! Oh, I hurt my neck doing that.
So why is this, first of all, what do we mean by a skill?
A skill is something that you can learn, which is important. And the reason this reframe is so powerful is that you just forget about it being a diet, is that it's something that you can learn and master, and it has some phases. So the first one is some study, because obviously carnivore, low carb, all of it kind of goes against the old conventional wisdom of eating lots of healthy whole grains and tons of vegetables and building your whole entire diet off of spaghetti and bread. And so understanding actually a little bit of the physiology of how the human body, digests food and uses it for energy is really helpful in getting the mindset switched around to understand that for over 50 years, we've been in bizarro world where everything was teaching us exactly the opposite of what we should do.
I just want to put in, when I read some of Dr. Fung's work and also Ben Bickman and understood insulin especially, that was the piece for me that really sunk in and was that educational piece that I really needed.
Yeah. So the study is important because it gives you the idea of like, well, maybe I can try this. Maybe it's safe to try this, because at first it may seem like, well, this is crazy. And then there's the training part. And this is where you actually endeavor to do it. And we actually first encountered this years and years ago when we did Whole30. Who remembers that one?
If you've done Whole30, we want to hear. I know I did it a couple times. I think you said...
I did it once all the way through.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 days for me is like the same as 1,000. So, but that was the first kind of, I don't know, I didn't even think of it at the time, but that's training. That was an elimination diet, the Whole30. I don't remember what we eliminated. I know that sweet potatoes were allowed because I learned to like them.
It was paleo and no sugar.
Yeah, right. And so, but when you go keto or carnivore, it always starts off, I mean, back when Atkins was teaching it, it starts off very, very restrictive. And people are like, oh man, that's such a restrictive diet. It doesn't seem like it's sustainable. But that's a misunderstanding. Because it's a skill, there's training involved. And that's what that phase is training, is learning how to actually do it.
I'm thinking of when my brother was in karate, and you'd sit there and you'd learn form number 1, right?
Yeah.
You'd go in and you would train. Or for dancing, bar work. I would go into the studio and do bar work. You've seen enough.
I could do the hands, sort of.
Back when I owned my dance studio, that bar work is training, getting that muscle memory.
Yeah, and it sort of, I mean, bar work is drills, right?
Drills.
You just do it over and over and over and over and over again. Well, with a diet and training the skill of eating carnivore or keto, the reps are your meals, or the ones you don't eat. That's a rep. And your reps are your days and your weeks and getting through it. But the beauty of that training is that you start to see the progress develop, the changes in the body. You start to have body recomposition. You'll probably notice, as we did, some things went away very quickly. I think the first thing you noticed was allergies.
A reduction in allergies, huge. Yeah. That was number 1.
For me, it was acid reflux went away, and then Blood pressure came down, was very consistently excellent. And then much more slowly, IBS symptoms started to completely disappear. So like any skill, you don't just get all the benefits the first day you try it. Just like when you're learning guitar, you don't become a jazz master by playing one scale one time.
Now with a diet, we think you should see results fast.
I'm on a diet.
I lost 5 pounds this week.
Yeah. And so I'm going to keep doing this diet until I hit my
goal.
And then once I've hit my goal, I can
cheat. Resume normal life.
That's not skillful.
That's not skillful.
That's what I used to do.
Yeah.
And then another part of skill is so you study, you do your training, and then you do experimentation. So for me, when I did Carnivore, I did the famous triple B&E, which stands for
beef, butter, bacon, and eggs.
Yes, and I don't know who popularized it, but
it was Barry. It was Dr. Barry.
Was it Dr. Barry?
Created it. Yep.
Okay, because triple B&E is obviously extraordinarily restrictive training regimen for getting onto Carnivore. But man, is it extremely powerful. And obviously powerful in what it does to the body or for the body, but also how it makes it super simple. There is nothing to really decide about.
Well, I want to take us back to the training with the Whole30 though, just for a second. Do you remember how challenging that was? Looking at every label to see if there was added sugar, going out to eat. I mean, that training took a lot of brain power.
Yeah, that was because sweet potatoes were allowed, it also didn't restrict sweetness enough. Because for me, any sweetness is just continuing the addiction. So it probably would have been better if I hadn't had those. But triple B&E, very restrictive, but that's one of its powers is because you're in training and you're learning the skill. And once I ended that, I was like, okay, now I'm in my experimentation phase. I know the scales. I can play a blues solo on my guitar. Now I'm going to see if I can play some other notes like chicken, pork, Snickers bar, chocolate shake. No, I didn't actually have those. But it was a loosening up to see what my body could tolerate and how it would react. And I found out that I was like, yeah, I can eat some chicken wings without sugary sauces on them. And yeah, I can have some pork, whatever that thing is I like.
Tenderloin.
There's very little of the pig I do like. I like its ribs, and I especially like its ribs smothered with sugar-added barbecue sauce. But I don't have that because my gut does not like it at all.
Now, you mentioned finding out what you tolerate and what your gut tolerates in this experimental phase. And I think it's also important to think about what you can mentally tolerate as well.
Yeah.
So if you have an addiction type relationship with sugars, for instance, having them, you mentally cannot tolerate.
Yeah, and it's unskillful to do it. So it's always reframing it. Is that one is a skill, and part of that is there's going to be errors. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be missteps. And one of the skills of the skill is knowing how to get right back into it and remember what the benefits were. That goes back to the study. It also goes back to your experiments because now you know, it's like, well, for me, that would be, I might need to do 3 or 4 days of just beef, bacon, butter, and eggs.
Reset.
Total reset, and then I'm off to the races.
Which you know about the reset because you did the training.
That's right, because I did the training.
Yeah, so
it gives you moves. And if you think in terms of skill, you have moves you can make. And the more advanced you get, the more situations you can go into safely, like, say, going on a trip to Disney or going on a cruise or going out to restaurants or going to a family get-together. And being able to understand, how do I go into this skillfully and not sabotage myself and make myself sick?
Well, and also I think life eventually throws along different scenarios
Inevitably.
too that we can have grow our skills in. You know, if there's a loss in the family, a job transition, All these things just give us an opportunity to expand our skillfulness in different varying situations.
So this is the big idea. And if it speaks to you, we'd love to hear you spout off an agreement or disagreement in the comments.
And in the meantime, just really, if this way of thinking works for you, start developing your skills. See what your next skill is.
Somebody commented on, I think, our very first video that they had been doing this for, I don't know, 7 years or 20 years, something. They had completely changed their health. And it was clear from the comment that they're very skilled at this way of eating. And just think about when you go from being sick or dysfunctional to being functional and healthy. I mean, that is a life improvement. You've leveled up.
Yep, you've leveled up.
Yeah, you've leveled up.
And you can't force it.
No.
In a video game, you don't just jump.
No. And we're going to talk in another video about where you start from when you're leveling up. Because I mean, obviously you can level down very easily, but that's just getting sicker. And once you've developed this carnivore or keto skill, that's totally opposite of how your mind would even see reality.
So best of luck on your proper human diet journey. And again, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Like and subscribe. We'd love to see that. We'd love to hear from you and really discuss this concept of skills. So until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.